Hello, I'm Brett,
And I'm Jason.
and this is our first gaming session of Elder Scrolls Online for Rolling Blade.
We're beginning off with the character creation for creating our characters. This is a crucial point, as it were. Well, I wouldn't say crucial.
I think it is a lot for role-playing aspects, certainly, because obviously that's what we are building to in this, setting up role-play characters. So having a good impression of your guy from the very beginning, I think, is useful to have, because a lot of these MMOs don't really have much in terms of changing how your character looks after.
Yes, it's some MMOs allow you to change your character later on, but mostly you're set in stone when you start your character. So for role-playing aspects, if you want to create your role-playing character, this is where you should start thinking of your character first. Like, yeah, you can start thinking of role-playing later on, like I've done with one of my characters in another MMO. But if you're starting a game for role-playing aspects, this is where you need to do it.
Yeah, you do. So I'll admit, well, we might as well admit right now, this is actually the second time we've tried to record this video. We had some slight technical difficulties with it the first time, so we've already got an idea of who we're wanting to be. So we'll give you a quick rundown of that, and we'll get jumping straight into the game, basically.
Yep. Well, to start off, you need to know where your character's going to be based, so learning a bit of background history of the game helps, because with Elder Scrolls you've got 3 alliances.
Yeah, it massively helps. I mean, for most people, at least on Elder Scrolls, if you enjoy any form of role-playing games, MMOs, you've probably played in Elder Scrolls anyway, so you already know a little bit, but things like wikis are always good to read.
Yep. So both me and Brett decided we're going to go with the Daggerfall pact. Not Daggerfall.
Ebonheart Pact.
The Ebonheart pact. What am I saying? Yeah, I get mixed up with some words sometimes.
It was, admittedly as well, we've already got characters who are Aldmeri Dominion, so it was between the Daggerfall Covenant and the Ebonheart Pact. Yep. We spent quite a bit of time sort of thinking between the two, but we liked the races mainly from the Ebonheart Pact more.
Yes. Now, within it, I picked the Argonian, while Brett has picked a Dark Elf.
Yep, I have. So those are our races. We've also started to use our classes as well to have a bit of a think about roleplay as well.
Yep.
So obviously, if you would play Nightblade, I think it'd certainly be more stealthy type character you'd probably play. But I'm playing a Dragon Knight.
I'm playing a Templar. My reason for being a Templar is for role-playing aspect. What about yours?
Same basically. I wanted to play somebody who's very much a defender in heavy metal armour and your usual sort of knight. And since they have Dragon Knights, since it's in the name, it seemed like a good starting point as any.
Yeah. But for me, I want to mostly for the guild that we're planning to start.
Yeah, we are. We're going to look at starting a guild and hopefully running them with these characters.
Yep. For me, I have picked a character who takes influence from Dragon Age, in the sense that Dragon Age Templars were created to maintain order over the mages, while my character is based on after the beginning, when he learns what's happened, that he finds sorcerers and people who use magic, that they need someone around to prevent them from stepping out of bounds.
Yeah.
Don't need to, like, what's the word? Hard control, like, tyrant? No.
Tyrannical?
No. Like martial law on someone.
I don't know.
Oh.
Like, I understand sort of what you mean, at least. I hope everyone else does as well, like.
Yeah. So that's the way I see my character, and that's who I'm going to try and be. It's not going to be against old magical people, but it will have an eye out to make sure they're not going to step out of bounds.
And my idea is very much sort of a defender, so it'll be somebody running the security of the guild and things like that. Mine's a lot more simple, basic idea, I think, at the minute than yours, but...
Yes.
Anyway, should we go through, is there anything in this character creator you want to sort of go through before we get started, or?
Just to say that when it comes to creating a character, adding in details from the options you have would help give the feel of the character, and if anyone is interested to look on your character from role-playing aspects, like having a scar or face markings, it's a good way to say how you got them or where you got them from.
Yeah, that's something I've decided to do with this character, that my character's got a scar over the eye. So while I'm developing the character, that is going to be something that I'm going to use and sort of think, well, how did he get that? Where did that come about? Is there an interesting story there? There might not be, but it's a good a start as any to think about.
While mine's got face markings across his head, which symbolises the tribe he comes from.
So yeah, things like that to think about for character creation are nice little things, and they make things a bit easier, I think, for later on when you're coming up with stories.
Yes.
And we've got the advantage, of course, in Elder Scrolls as well, is that there's quite a comprehensive list of features for character creation. Like all the sliders and hair colour, eye colour, even random things like lip fullness, or what was the one that I found earlier? Posterior size?
Yes.
Which?
Posterior dimensions.
Posterior dimensions, that's the one. Which basically means whether you have a fat ass or not.
Yes, and if I remember correctly, when I created my female character, they had the bust size.
Yeah, that's normally in it. It's quite disturbing, if I'm perfectly honest. But yeah, so things like that. There's a lot of customization in this game for making the character just how you want them to be. It's in the manageable sort of scale, I'd say, because there are smaller, worse ones with like Star Wars Online. I think that one's very, very basic for making your character.
Yes. Well, you've got.
And then you've got
Star Trek with
Star Trek.
massive amounts. You could actually create your own race, technically.
Yeah, well, you actually can. I mean, when we played it, we both made our own races, and I think we must have spent a good half an hour or so each, at least, in the character creator, just having a mess around.
Yeah.
It's the same with another game that I think is made by the same company as Champions Online, which is a superhero roleplay which I played quite a bit and is a good fun game. But the character creation in that is very similar along the lines of Star Wars as well. And I actually think they can be a bit overloading sometimes.
Yes.
But this one's got a nice blend of fair bit to get into if you want, but you don't need to too much, and there's not too much to overload you. So anyway, should we go on naming our characters?
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I've gone with Saab already. Simple, basic. His race doesn't like his clan doesn't like complicated names, so they get simple worded names. And yourself?
Mine is Vishtar, which I've basically gone for something which sounds quite elven, but at the same time, with him being a dark elf and they're quite harsh, looking for something that's got a bit of a kick to it as well. Doesn't mean anything. You can have character names that do have meanings and things like that. There are translators online that you can grab, and sometimes they're useful to use, but I tend to just put together random syllables and see how it sounds.
Yeah, that's how I like to do it. As for role-playing aspect too, that means you create your own version of the language or your own language.
Yeah, and with a lot of things, games like this, you know, because there isn't actually a language being created, you can go really creative and just have whatever you want, and you can just say it's part of the language. I mean, you can't do so much with things like Lord of the Rings Online, where there's obviously Tolkien was so picky and so careful with his languages. That one you probably need to think a bit more about when you're making a character's name. But for things like Elder Scrolls Online, you can do more or less whatever you want.
Yep. It's down to how you want your character to look, and naming conventions. I'll leave them up to you.
Yep. Alright, so are we ready to get into the game?
Yep.
Okay. Made sure I didn't skip it.
Alright, found how I can't use Star!
Another slight problems. Obviously in MMOs you will occasionally get character names that aren't usable.
Yeah, I think that they might have to work with that saying if the name's free or not. Well, I've done all that. Great. No.
Was it somebody else has got it, like?
Yeah. So...
That's quite surprising, because when I was playing with a friend the other day, his character name is Sir Manly Man, and that hadn't been taken. You'd think on a mega server game like this, that would have been a name that would have gone, but... Yeah. So that's me into the game now. I'm just going to have a look around a bit. As you can see, it's quite a nice little MMO, and it's a lot more interactable, you'll notice, along the way than the worlds of a lot of MMOs, where all this stuff is just here, put down on the ground, and it doesn't, excuse me, actually do anything. But as there you can see, you know, there's some radishes on the floor, and you can take them if you want. Not quite as not customizable, interactable as some MMOs, but more than, not MMOs, Elder Scrolls games, but more than most.
Yep.
MMOs at the very least. 1 second, I'm just going to send you a group invite. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Are you in?
Yep, I'm in.
Right.
Look, floating arrow. Floating arrow.
Yeah, so you can't play in this.
You've
this
been like you,
section of
I am
the
a
game.
prisoner in this place. Yet so much
Taking the
more.
sheep.
I am the past
taken
and the
the
future,
sheep.
both.
I've taken a
I am
radish.
despair. You must rescue me, and I, in turn, must rescue
Now
you.
speak to this ghosty
You must
fellow.
escape from
Yeah.
this cell, take up arms, and protect yourself.
Then take a few moments to connect yourself.
So I'll wait in the next section. I'll
Like you,
see.
I am a prisoner
Where
in
is
this
it we need
place.
to put in
Yes,
Cold
we
Harbor,
are
isn't it?
escaped.
Yes,
Let
Yeah.
me open your door.
And
The past and the future.
That's it. Quickly,
Alright,
you
yeah.
must
Yeah.
escape
You must
before the
rescue
guards turn up.
and I, in turn,
So-
must rescue. Quickly, follow urgency.
Are you enjoying about this game? I mean, been playing it for a while now, about a week or so
You there.
altogether.
We
So
are escaping. Let me open your door.
Yeah.
That's it.
What
There are weapons in the halls behind these cells. Arm yourself.
It is Elder Scrolls to a very certain degree.
Follow urgency.
You could go into first person, you could swing your sword
There are
manually,
weapons in the halls
you do
behind
have
these
some
cells.
abilities,
Arm yourself.
and it's more
Grab something to
created
defend yourself.
as like
Don't be
Elder
greedy.
Scrolls
We
Guide
have a lot
with
of
the
prisoners
armies.
tomorrow.
It makes you feel like you are still playing in Elder Scrolls.
yeah, I like the fact as well that it isn't just here are 10 million user interfaces. You can have every single skill open that you've got. That's a bit of an exaggeration, I'll admit, but you sort of get the idea, rather than with a lot of MMOs where you do get that. I like the fact that there's only 5 abilities and an ultimate you can have all at any time. Makes it a bit more, you have to think a little bit more about what you're taking in the fight.
Yes.
An enemy approaches. Strike it
At the
down.
same time though, I don't like sometimes it's not bad, but it doesn't quite seem things like playing with friends, you know, I've got a higher level character than you. I was already about 10 levels in when you joined, and it was then that we realised basically I can't go back and do anything with you, which is a bit of a shame. But I think they have said that they're going to be sorting that out at some point, so that should be quite good.
Yep.
Another enemy blocks the path ahead. Dispatch it quickly.
Try. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the leveling in this game isn't as bad as I've seen in some MMOs had it before, where you have to basically grind to survive.
You got more meat on your bones than most of
It's just
Your arms are so good.
slog.
You've still got some fight
Right,
left in you.
but
You're going to need it.
it's
A
not
fellow
too
prisoner.
bad.
You got more meat on your
this
bones
game.
than most. A fellow prisoner. The name sounds like the prophet, all right.
Yep.
He's a prisoner here too.
Very strange to be
Very
sat doing
dangerous
this.
for
I
him
don't
to
have
speak
my
to
sound
even
on
for
at
a
the minute, so
moment.
obviously I can't hear quite what's
Break
going
him out,
on.
of course.
Yeah.
Believe me, I can use all the help I can get.
One where we could access
That blind old man is the only
Yeah.
person alive who can help.
I'm taking time. I'm still reading everything, but it's a bit disorientated not being able to hear it.
Yes.
So I really do like the fact that they put dialogue in the game, thanks to Star Wars, and I attribute it massively to that, of getting an MMO which is actually fully voiced and seeing that it does work has been very good.
Yes.
Made it.
I mean, the sound really allows
Come.
for
The sentinels are at the top of those towers. We need magical constructs created by Molag Bal to guide his vision in Cold Harbor. I have no idea.
A
Brute
unique
force?
way for it. Let's see how it goes.
You know, I've never really had any like desire to try out any Oculus Rift type stuff. It doesn't seem to really appeal to me. I mean, I can see it's quite cool little idea, but it just never appealed.
Yeah. It's not understandable. It's not for everyone, but everyone's got different taste.
Yeah. Are you into the Cold Harbour bit?
I'm at the Tower of Lights now, so yes. So I'll have to go to three.
Alright. I'll just wait at the top of the stairs for you then. There you are.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yes.
It's Carol.
Yes.
Cool. Oh, have you gone two-handed as well?
Yeah. I'm gonna make
Yeah. I'm going to be changing to a great sword, but for the minute.
I would prefer the shield or the mace, but then got one-handed.
Yeah, we've got swords. The thing to think about, I think, with role-playing is what sort of equipment you can use. I mean, in this game you can use anything, no matter what. So it's not too bad, but it's still nice. I enjoy at least having my equipment that I'm best at is the sort of equipment that I will be using.
Yeah.
It feels better for me. It feels more realistic in terms of a role-playing situation. I just don't enjoy showing up at a role-play with equipment that I never actually use.
Yes. Well, we do get some equipment are for purely synthetic role-playing aspect, while you do get some equipment that is going to be used for battle because it's much get your higher stats. So it's just finding the balance. Some people try combining both of them, while sometimes it works another way.
One thing I do like about Lord of the Rings Online, which if you've ever played that, they've got cosmetic slots, so you can look however you want, but the equipment you've got might be totally different. So I like things like that. I also like the Star Wars way of doing it. You can actually get
We must get to the puppet
or
cell.
at least I've seen quite a lot of the equipment seems to be customizable stuff.
Yeah.
So it all looks however you want it to, but it's all got the stats as well tailored to exactly what you want.
Yep, and they also got the dying side of it. While
Yeah.
with Skyrim,
A god of brutality
my first
knows of
character
your
was
escape.
blacksmithing.
Hurry.
Managed to find the high elf version of armor.
Yeah, the motifs in this game are quite good. Just customizing how your arm looks. I think I've not done it very much, but it does look like there's going to be a lot of customization in terms of really making which is a good thing for us for roleplay terms.
Yes. It's something that will allow you to create the armor of your character.
Yeah.
So yes, it's so Elder Scrolls has
The door's warded. We'll never get in this way.
we
Damn
haven't
it.
seen much of
Destroying the Sentinel must have triggered these wards.
No,
we'll
we
need to find
haven't.
the
I
other
think
way
that's
in.
one of the things we mentioned
Cadwell
before
is the
about
oldest
the
of
book.
his
It's
souls.
very
Sees things as he wishes. After
quiet.
years of torment, souls
It's
should
very
have been usually
behind
go
the
insane and
scenes.
turn feral.
Except for obviously there are
Not
certain
Cadwell.
things
Cadwell
which
sees
I
things
think
as he
we will
wishes them
certainly
to
have to
be.
look at
To him,
covering
Cold
things
Harbour is a
like
wondrous
Weatherstock,
place.
Yes.
which I think we'll have a look at. We'll put up a thing at some point saying about what that is exactly, but for now, if you don't know, I'd recommend that you go and Google it.
Yeah. So isn't that approaching?
It should be. I don't know if it's running the show. If it is, I'll let you
Hello, what's
Yeah.
this? Alfred Sir.
Didn't like that
Yes,
character.
Steve.
Rings.
Yeah, specifically too.
And Fairlander, good to see you. How are you?
The one thing we have to mention though, when you do go, from what I've read about it, you are going to be hit by a massive process.
Yeah, there's a lot of process involved in that, but other than things like that, roleplay does tend to be quite a bit in the background, I think. Which is a shame, and I haven't seen it on this game as much.
Watch your step. Follow the river. You'll find the door to the Undercroft at
Yeah,
the water's
not exactly
end.
the same as Sky
Once
in the
you're
World.
inside, best of luck. Do check in.
But it is, role-playing can be quite fun. It is not noticeable and whatever, but you do get the events like Weatherstock and stuff.
And even just, you know, your own clan, guild, whatever you want to call it, when they all get together, it can still be a decent sized number of people, and it's always good fun, I think.
Yes. some guilds could pull off role-playing events quite well, while others just hold meetings.
Yeah.
It also allows you to create a form of respect for a lot of people, and a lot of people choose to play people they are not usually.
Yeah, it's a community in every sense of the word pretty much, but it's a community of just people who aren't who they actually are in real life. It's a game, it's escapism.
Yes. So, we're not, so don't be afraid to be a character who is arrogant in one way, as long as you're not being like...
A dick.
Yes. Because there are some people out there who just try to ruin things, but there are people who roleplay it for their character.
Yeah, there's some of it which sometimes it can be a bit touch and go, I think. Things like which we've seen before in Star Wars Online, where we've been in a Sith guild. So it kind of makes sense that some people are going to, screw each other over and things like that. And that's fine for your character if that's your character you like. I think you do have to remember that at the end of the day, other people are there because they want to play a game. They want to have fun. So it's finding that balance.
So, good way to get around it is to say out of character that you are, my character is this kind of person.
Yeah, ask permission, certainly. Make people aware. If you're like that in character, I'd say definitely what you just said. Mention it out of character and make sure it's okay. 9 times out of 10 I think you'll find that people are okay with it.
Yeah.
But it's still, they're only okay with it because you've made sure and asked first.
The Prophet's Cage should be just ahead. Quickly now, we haven't much time. The Prophet's Cage should be just ahead.
You are
Quickly now, we haven't much time.
a lot of people that do it. I think you can have people to talk to. You have team spirit. You can have laughs. And they will treat you at the same time.
Yeah.
You just don't go, oh, I'm trying to...
All right. The good news is we made it here in one piece, and the Prophet looks unharmed. Now the bad news. It's going to be up to you to keep him safe and get him back to Tamriel. I probably should have mentioned this before, but it never seemed like the right time.
Yeah.
There's a trick
Sort
to
of
it.
get a right combination of the two, then
The only way
I
for
think
a prisoner
everyone
to
tends to
leave is
enjoy,
for
even if
another
you
living
play
soul
something
to
like
take
the
a
Sixth character,
I need to swap
skill,
places with the Prophet.
which we've done before, where there can be quite a bit of backstabbing.
Yes.
Really, I wish there was. I don't see
Leo,
anyone else here with a beating heart, do you? If more Lodball isn't stopped, he'll destroy every... There are magical locking devices on either side of the cage. You need to deactivate both of them so I can begin the transfer.
never realized we didn't know that.
I mean, we can't talk in some sense in that, because we've done things which would be a Sith very much way of doing things, or you trying to put me into a position as somebody's apprentice. And using your advanced knowledge to give me sort of an edge, so that way we could affect it a bit more. But at the same time, we did it in a very sort of respectable way. We weren't stepping on anybody's toes, so even if we do things like that, it can be done in an enjoyable way. No, yeah.
I give myself that the Prophet might be free!
Then they will love it.
Yeah.
Fellow members of their
Just to be there with their friends, yeah. Something we've done quite a bit of, we tend to bring each other into guilds that we both play in, especially like good guilds that we play,
Yes.
when we find them.
Thank the divines who are
One
safe.
thing
There is that at least. There is sacrificed everything that we wish that were possible. But I promise you, once we escape Cold Harbor, we will... That is the name I have given you. You are but a trace of your former self.
We
That
tend
is
to
what
find
I've come
well,
to be
with,
called.
I think,
My
a lot of
true name
role-playing
is
guilds,
lost even
they
to
tend to be
me.
quite maturer
Years
than
of torment have taken their toll.
sometimes other guilds. So even though
The anchors are
they
Daedric
expect your characters
machines
to
of
be
the
there as much as
darkest
possible,
magic.
they understand that real life does get in the way, I think. One of the guilds we've been part of has got a condition of it's 2 months between you logging on and interacting with them.
Yes. I might have to interact with them again.
Yeah, I think I'm coming up to it. I haven't in a while.
Yeah.
So obviously, well, real life, unfortunately. But
it's something that really does. When they allow you that time, you know that guild is in the first place. Because the guild say, oh, you're not online in the next few days, we're going to mark you out and we're just not going to accept you. That's not a guild you really want to be part of. That's really demanding. Many guilds can't.
yeah, I mean, anybody who plays MMOs can certainly say that people do tend to play MMOs a lot in a short sort of period of time, but expecting people to be on too regularly isn't great. It's a way to turn people off your game. How you feel about sort of guild websites outside of the game?
Yeah, I try not
The
to
Dark Anchor's portal is high above us. I will prepare a spell to lift us to it. But first you must reattune yourself to Nern, in a shard of ethereal magicka that carries the essence of Nern. Some link them to Lorca's.
See, I really like them. I tend to check them at least every day, and I think they're a good way of advertising
fall upon us now and anoint us
like
with your
guild meets and special events. A place to keep all things like character backgrounds in one place and screenshots.
Yes.
Great Akatosh, great dragon god of time, your children are lost, children of false twin
You
worlds.
see everyone's offline and you need
They
to
cry out
you know, I
for
can't get
mercy.
on the game for the next couple of weeks. I'm, you know, out
Hear
of town
my
or something
voice,
like that. I think they're a
Akatosh,
very good
voice.
thing to do.
I require your strength.
And I do know that there are some game
Let the
guilds,
way be
sorry,
open.
don't like
Let
using
these wandering souls return home. Let the
we're
will
building the game
of
so they
Moloch
don't be
Baal be denied.
which is another aspect I can sort of
Hurry!
understand.
We
It
must
helps
go
with the
now!
immersion
We must go
in a
now!
lot of ways because you're only involved when you're in the game.
I remember this part. As you can see on my screen, it says ETUs. I just saw the prophet get lifted into the air, and my response is, oh, I just need to jump. So I jumped. Noticed I needed to press E, but by the time I noticed it, I was already begun falling down.
Where's that? Is that? Oh yeah, just there in there.
Yeah,
It's an interesting thing
The
to do.
vestige awakens
well,
once again.
I think that's both of us pretty much done with the tutorial, isn't that?
yes.
As I feared.
So
We
I'll just
arrived in
finish
different
it here,
days, weeks.
and
I cannot tell. I'm afraid I cannot foresee
Luckily
that.
now,
Not
I've
yet.
got my...
But we will meet again. There is still much we need. Be wary that you must find your own.
Vestige awakens once again.
I can now equip my great sword. There we go. Is it just me, or does the great swords really look like anime style big great swords? You know, the ones that
the
realistically no human could ever hope to lift.
I think
Days, weeks, I cannot
her
tell.
intention said
A
the name
voyage
was
between worlds
Claymore.
disrupted all sense of
Yeah,
time
they are.
and space.
I think they are. Claymores or
Only that you were
some
deposited into the
And
sea.
the thing about Claymores was they
Some
had
charitable
the
soul
ability
fished
to
you
play
out,
both man and
brought
horse.
you to dry land.
Due to the fact they were so big, you couldn't technically swing them properly.
Yeah,
I'm
they do
afraid
seem
I
to be a bit
cannot foresee
ridiculously
that.
over the
Not
top.
yet. Be wary, best. You must find your own
Right,
path.
Well, I think that should be us left there, shouldn't it?
Yep.
Alright, well, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and
See you next time.
yeah, see you next time, where we'll be going through the first couple of levels. We're not exactly sure what we're going to be doing, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. We'll do lots of quests and show you the tutorial
Well, we just
starting island area
yeah,
type
the
thing.
starting island.
And subscribe and all of that stuff, which everyone seems to love saying, if you enjoyed this video.
Yep. And well, bye for now.